morning.
Hello, welcome to the Circle of Fame, and today we will speak about very important topic, and this is about money, mastering money mindset, and how to unlock abundance and financial freedom. And we have Vangelis and we have Daniel, who we will speak about this topic. And before we start, I would like you experts a bit introduce yourself, and then we will discuss the topic. Who is going to be the first?
Daniel, go first, Daniel.
So first of all, I'm very happy to be here. So I'm Daniel Kobryner. I'm a mental fitness coach, and I help people uncovering what is holding them back from living the most fulfilling life they can. It's about understanding the saboteurs which are running on autopilot, which are little voices which are not them. Could be the judge, could be the avoider, could be the people pleaser. And once people understand it and start working on that, they can become the best version of themselves, go into the stage and have all the clarity, the confidence, and the drive to live the life they want to live.
Thank you. And Vangelis?
I love that, Daniel. That's so great. I work with companies that want to integrate artificial intelligence into their business. And AI is not an application, it's not a program, but it's basically an ecosystem of a whole bunch of technologies. So when a company says we'd like to utilize AI, it's not like dropping in an application. You have to look at the support structure in both the technology position and also the organization and the human element. So it's being able to see the big picture, how they want to make their people more efficient, how they want to organize, how they want to communicate between their different departments to make sure that they're sound structurally before they even introduce any type of AI architecture into their applications or their organization. So I work with companies to help them understand what it takes to integrate and make their people and their business more efficient. Thank you.
Amazing. Such a great job you both are doing. And
Fantastic,
yeah.
Vangelis.
Yes, and here in the Circle of Fame, our mission is to unite visionaries, inspire growth, and promote experts who have the knowledge, expertise, the life experience on our platform, that they can reach out to people who are looking for this knowledge and experience to implement in their life and business. And today we will speak about mindset for money. And first question will be the following: beliefs, abundance, and action. This is the first segment. And the question is, what was your biggest limiting belief about money? And how did you overcome it? Why do you think so many entrepreneurs struggle with money mindset? Who would like to share? Let's start with the first one. What was your biggest limited belief about money? And how did you overcome it?
I can start. A lot of times people use the example of thinking that money is evil and money is not good. And yeah, that was maybe a little piece of it. But in my environment that I grew up, it was always think of others first. So I made a lot of money, but I gave about 90% of it away because that was my conditioning, my indoctrination growing up. You know, you make a lot of money. What about all the people that don't have money? So I would help them and do this and pay for that. I'll pay for that. I'll do this, all these things. And so it was such a belief that, as I started getting more in tune with myself, it was almost as if my soul was saying, why should you get any more money if you're just going to give it away? That was such a huge revelation for me, because I was going, okay, it was like my soul wanted me to shift my thinking. And I got to the point where all of a sudden I had no money, and I thought, well, and then I started digging deep. What kind of belief do I have? I shouldn't have anything because no, I should help everyone else. So that was kind of one of those, if you want to call it a block, a belief, a limiting idea, but that's really what was controlling my life. Was I made a lot of money, but I gave almost all of it away. So that was one piece for me.
Yes, right. It is not about how much you make, but how you use them. Yes, and those beliefs which are running on subconscious mind, they control how we use money, and it doesn't make how we doesn't matter how we make it. It also happened with me. I made 1 million euros within 2 years, and I lost everything because I didn't know this principle that money is not about outside. Like, money is not coming from people. It comes through people. And this is reflection of your value. And this is why many people win lottery. And we know statistics, yes, when people win lottery, and it is just a luck, but what happens in 2 years? They lose them all and they get themselves in trouble because money was here, but their awareness, consciousness, as relations with money here. That is why when it is not aligned, money passes by. Yes, you get them with one hand, and next left hand you just give them. Exactly, because this is the way how paradigms operate and how we are programmed. If we are not programmed to have money, to be wealthy, to use them in the right way, they will be just passing by, and we just will focus on making more. And right, you said that subconscious will already knows how it is programmed, that it doesn't matter what you will make, you will still go let it all go. Yes, thank you. What was this second question? Why do you think
Okay,
so
you want
many?
Daniel to answer that one?
Daniel,
About
would you like to answer? Answer
Okay.
raise the hand, guys, okay? If you want to speak, so I can.
thanks, Vangelis, but I'll pass on this one. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so the second one is why do you think so many entrepreneurs struggle with money mindset even when they are successful internally? Or sorry, externally? Why do you think so many entrepreneurs struggle with money mindset even when they are successful externally? Interesting question. Who want to share here? Yes, I can. Till you are ready, I can share.
I'll share again.
Okay.
I think it also depends on what your definition is of money and abundance and so forth. And what I mean by that is what is your, it depends on how your life is. If you have a life where you think success means I live here, I'm able to do this, I have this particular image, all right? And you're always chasing a particular outcome or expectation of what it is, then it's a struggle, because when I was in the executive environment, a lot of them would want to make salaries based on what everyone else is making. And they would think, well, I'm not very good if I don't have this salary or that salary or whatever. And so you're making, some of these executives I worked with were making $10 million a year. And And some were struggling with $10 million a year. And it's interesting to find out how their idea of success is. So whether you're making $20,000 a year or 20 million, the struggle is still there because it's not the amount. It's how you view it and how you see it and what you think you should be doing or have with that money. So it's like, I think you said it earlier, Elena, it's not the amount, it's how you see it and what it means. Are you connected to it? Are you disconnected from your money? I was speaking with someone last week who said, I feel so disconnected with money. And that was part of what it was. I said, well, this is what you're making and this is what your life is like. But their definition didn't match what they were living. So part of that struggle is not really how much, but how you view it, what your definition is.
Mhm. Yes, and it is very interesting that society definition of success is like alternative to having a lot of money. But is it really that success is only about money? What the person has money, but he doesn't sleep at night worrying to lose them. Yes, and this is mindset. So it is not about amount. If you are worried to lose when you have little, you will have more and then you will worry more and you will have those sleepless nights because there is more to lose. Yeah, so is it success only about money? Like this is a question very interesting. Like when externally you look successful, from what point of view? Is it externally
Yes.
that looks that you are successful having money, but you don't have relations with your children and you don't even speak with them for years, right? Or you don't have good relations with your spouse or with other people, or you hate yourself. Maybe yes, maybe you just
Yes.
think like, oh, like I don't like this, I am so like I don't know, whatever. Yeah, so what really means success? Because it is a very very different success can be different for different people. So Vangelis, I would like to know your opinion about this. What success means to you?
To live the life that I want to live. It's allowing myself to live the way myself is supposed to live. And the background on that is my life was dictated to me. And it's exactly what you said. This is success. This is what you're supposed to do. This is how you're supposed to live. This is exactly what life is. It was all dictated to me. So I could not take any responsibility unless something went wrong. So it was a life of just like a boot camp. And then finally, when I broke free of that dictatorship, that environment where everything was dictated to me, then I started defining my own definitions of what is success. Because happiness never was a part of it. It's like the definition of success. When do I get to have fun? That was never a part of success. So I started making my own definition, and that's what success was, being able to make my decisions, take responsibility, and allow me to live me. So that's success for me.
Mhm. Thank you. What about you, Daniel?
Well, first to come back to money before success. It's, of course, we have needs, we need to cover our needs, but what makes a difference, I mean, I found it's how you use money. Is it just for yourself, or is it with a view of being able to help other people? Getting this freedom you were talking about, Vangelis, this freedom which enables you to do what you want to do. Because you see, one of the biggest aha moments I had was when I heard that money is energy. It's just energy, and energy flows. Money, same thing. So if we try to keep it and to be, tight with this money, it's not going to flow. It's like, still water there, it's going to stay. Now, when you let it flow, it will flow more. And I really like the idea of welcoming money. Welcoming money. And I'm talking to myself when I'm speaking about this because I work on this as well, but it's about thinking, yes, you know what? If I block it, it's not going to come. So it's really about it's about ready, and it needs to be aligned with my purpose. And this is now coming back to your question that I know about success. For me, it's about being able to to live my calling and to my passion, which is about to make this world a better place at my very humble level. And if I can do that, again, it's not about earning more. It's about really being able to thrive, to shed some light to this world, and to help as much as possible.
Thank you. Yeah, great. So we're coming back to our next question. How can someone identify if they have unconscious money beliefs or blocks? Yeah, unconscious money blocks. How can someone identify if they have unconscious money blocks?
Oh, I'll answer that. A lot of times, it's a little bit of what Daniel was just saying. Is if I'm not happy, and how do you define happy? I mean, I didn't even know what happy was because it was never a part of anything for me. But if I am feeling like every time I make money, something happens and it goes away. It's how you uncover conflicts. For example, I was listening to guys talking and they were complaining about these people that they don't really work and they make all this money. And I asked them, I said, if someone gave you $1 million, could you accept it? They said, oh no, I couldn't accept that. I said, well, but you're complaining that these people over here are making money without doing something. Why would you complain about them if you weren't thinking, I wish I could do that too? But then when I ask you, if someone gave you $1 million, you would feel not good. So there's a conflict there. It took a long time for them to see the conflict. They said, what do you mean? I said, well, you're complaining these people don't do anything and they make money, yet if someone gave you money, you couldn't accept it. Yeah, well, do you not see the conflict? I can't get money without working, but I'm mad that these people get money without working. They couldn't see the conflict. And then finally, after, who knows, 20, 30 minutes, like, oh, I said, yes, you're unbelievably unsubconscious mind. You're not even aware of it. You have one foot on the accelerator and one foot on the brake. Well, I have to work to get money. I don't like it when people get money. It's a conflict. So part of finding those blocks is sometimes to talk to somebody and have them ask you questions, because we don't always see those contrary, conflicting ideas that we have. So sometimes, like in those cases, you want someone to help you ask questions so you can see the blocks that you can't see.
Yes, right. People want money to come and they subconsciously they block themselves, that they're not open to receive. Yes, and they see the reasons why they cannot receive. And this is when they think this way, they feel and they act this way to block, because they will not do anything which even just allow it to come, yes, subconsciously.
Exactly.
Alan, do you have your finger up, Alan?
Yeah, I would like to make a contribution if we've got time. Sorry, I'm late, by the way.
Yeah, sure, Alan.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention about sometimes people have mental blocks about debt, about whether to go into debt or whether to borrow money in order to make money. And, you need to, or you should be aware of your own sort of views about debt, because if you see an opportunity to make money by borrowing money, i.e. going into debt, then there's a valid case for doing that. However, if you've got an unconscious money block that you don't want to go into debt, then it will limit you from taking advantage of that opportunity.
Yes, right. If you can borrow money and you know that it will make you many X that you can pay
Yes,
and still
yes.
profit. So it is a good debt. Yes, so there is.
Yes, it's a good debt, but if you've got limiting beliefs, sometimes you can't see that it's a good debt.
Well,
Yes, yes,
in your business though, you work a lot with that because you're
Yes,
talking
yes.
about some big money. So how do you help somebody like that, Alan?
Yeah, that's quite difficult, particularly when it's someone close to you, like my wife, who's got a particular point of view about debt, which is different to my own. And I have to constantly reassure her that to use money in a particular way is in the long term beneficial. But yes, development of projects is all about leverage, and it's about management of risk in order to deliver wealth and rewards according to a plan for which you need to invest a certain amount, and then if you follow the plan, then you recoup a multiple of the original investment. So yes, you're quite right, Vangelis. It's all about leverage.
And I'd like to add a point. I mean, two little points. I mean, first about, the money blocks. Again, we mentioned beliefs. Yeah, it's about beliefs. If we believe we are not worth it, if we have this scarcity mindset, this is where it's a block. We are afraid, we have fears. Now, when we overcome these fears and when we go in this mindset of abundance, of where actually this is going to make life of anybody better, then it's completely different. And to come back to your point, Alan, you see, we talk about debt, and this work and such has like a negative connotation. Very often when people present, they don't talk about debt, that they talk about how to use OPM, which is
Yes,
other people's
yes,
money. So
yes,
again,
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
you see, when we just stop using this word debt, it's not a debt. It's really you borrow to get more out of that.
Yeah, yeah,
Then
yeah,
you think, yes, of course, this is what it makes sense. You see, yeah, sometimes we freeze our money for something, and it could be better used if we invest it.
yeah, yes,
Spoken
sure.
about this, so
Sure.
yes, it's just how do we look at that?
Definitely.
Yeah, great. So now we are moving to the next segment. What is your top daily practice or habit that keeps you in an abundant state of mind? What is your top daily practice or habit that keeps you in an abundant state of mind?
I'll go. It might be because my degree in the university was accounting, business, and finance, investments, and I did not want to be a CPA, but numbers and formulas just set well with me. And so I have a spreadsheet that I started when I first got my first position at IBM back in, when I graduated from school. And, at that time, there was no Microsoft yet. Okay, so there was no Excel spreadsheets. So I did everything used to have this book called a ledger. And I just wrote everything out, all my input and all my output. And I've done that ever since. And so I know exactly where every penny goes. All right. And so I'm aware of, and then I also, in a couple of programs I was in where this one guy said, I want you to visually think, he was talking to some business people, I want you to visually see your inputs, your incomes, your revenue growing. And so they had these charts and they looked at it. And after 6 months, they noticed that their revenue was growing. And he says, what do you guys do different? Anything? No different operations, no different activities. It was just seeing that graph go up. And so all these little things I have picked up along the way to do, where, even Esther Hicks, Abraham, where they talk about make yourself a chart that is, a play chart. Like I actually make this much money and so forth. And there's so many different ways of doing this, but those are my habits. I'm constantly looking at my spreadsheets, looking at numbers, putting things in and saying, here's it. And then it shows up like that. It's just because that's what I'm thinking about. And Daniel, you were talking about energy earlier. That's the energy I put out. It's the energy of I'm not asking for money because that comes from a lack, that comes from scarcity. But if I look at it as though I have it, I'm not asking for it, I'm not looking for it, I'm not chasing it, it's already there. So those are some of the habits that I put together.
Yeah, so from having it and being it instead of needing this and chasing it. Yeah, because money don't like that neediness energy. Yes, and they run away from those people who run after them. So instead of running after money, we have to be that equivalent of that value that other people eagerly exchange money to get what we have.
Mhm.
Yes, and if we study the most successful people, billionaires, they all have one thing in common, that their vision for their companies is to provide the maximum value. They don't think about making more money. They think about how to create the product which will be the best and which will give the best service to people. And money comes as a side effect of that.
And
Can I
Anybody?
add something,
Yeah.
Elena? Yes, my daily habit that I believe keeps me in an abundant state of mind is sort of optimism and positivity that if I haven't solved a problem, that I will solve it. So, in the case of the example you were talking about, looking at finance for projects, which is sometimes quite difficult to organise, I will always find a way of another door to open and another opportunity to look at in order to secure the finance, because if you present a proposition to enough people, then you will find somebody who will find it attractive, even though according to the normal rules, you wouldn't find anyone who finds it attractive. So optimism, I suppose, is my sort of way of keeping in an abundant state of mind.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Yes, this is also relates to having burning desire. If you look back at your life and when you remember yourself being in that state of burning desire, that you want something so much, and if you really want it so much, you would get it. For me, it was so many times. Like I remember I wanted like necklace. I saw the necklace and I wanted it so much and it was so expensive. But then I found money and I bought it. Another one, also I saw very beautiful dress, red dress, and it was also in very luxury, very expensive shop. And it was just hanging separately from other clothes and lamp on it. Like it was like the best what was in the shop. And initially it was like, no way, I can have that dress. But then I made it burning desire. And interesting that I was I was teenager. I didn't know all these laws. Then I later learned. But it's something was so natural. Like if I wanted really something, if I set it in my mind that whatever it takes, I have to have the dress, I would get that. So finally, I got a dress. So when we look back in our life, we can see the connection between burning desire and money. So if you focus to create that burning desire, and of course it comes from knowing what we really want, right? Because we know we have to know why we want that, like really something that we really want so badly. If you look at your life and you find those situations when you really had that burning desire, you can see that you always were getting it. So it is, if we paraphrase this, that it is not to worry about money, how to get it, it is to develop that burning desire and seeing yourself that you already have that, like seeing yourself there. And it is feelings, you flip your brain to that frequency, which starts creating old situations which you never can know. You logically, it is totally illogical. You never can see and logically think how to do that. If you just focusing on creating that burning desire, somehow things start happening that you never expected and you get what you wanted. Yes, so this is usually, like I did this somehow intuitively, naturally, without knowing that this is the law. And later, of course, when I started to going deep in personal development, this and a very good book of Neville Goddard, which is called "Feelings is the Secret." Yeah, so for those people who listening us, if you didn't read this book, I really suggest read this book, Feelings is the Secret, because in this book, Neville Goddard explains, like we really have to focus on feelings, like our task, not about knowing where to take money or where to money come. Focus on those feelings, and when you get aligned, you cultivate that burning desire, and you see yourself constantly, imagine yourself that you are there, it is already there, it will come. It is by the law, because the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. Yes, so when you create this energy in your mind, because thoughts and coherence between brain and heart, you create those frequencies. You flip to the channel that it is where your goal is, and this is where you create the density of that energy in your mind, in that energetic field. By the law, it must take physical form, and this is how you don't need to know how you will get there. You just focus on creating that density, to create, seeing that vision, and being that, start thinking, feeling, acting from that place, become that person. Like for me, for example, visualizing myself in that dress, going in my visualization to parties, meeting people, and see how beautiful it is. This is how it works. Yes, so it is not really about chasing it. It is about being and about embodying that feeling, that state that you already have what you want.
Yes, and Elena, of course, I mean, you know that for me it's a work in progress, and but I very much relate to this, and you spoke about this as well, Vangelis, and again, when I think about this, is really self-worth is so important, because it actually, if we don't think that we deserve everything in life, it's not going to happen. And I'm talking to myself there, that sometimes I would, invest for others, but not for me. And
Yeah.
and the big shift is, I have to say, when I started investing in myself, and this was in personal development with coaches, with programs. I mean, the first time it was like, can I do that? And when I did it, and when I saw the transformations which happened, wow, this was like great. So now, another piece of advice is, because we don't see very often our worth, it's like, and it's very important to surround ourselves with people who are going to support us, with people who believe in us as well. Actually, people who believe in us more than we do in ourselves. And when we have this kind of people, and I can tell you in the room, you are all like that. You know what? This is when we really think, yes, I can do this. I deserve to buy this and that. And you know what? And when we do it afterwards, how do we feel? Wow, we feel much better. So it's this, this really this willingness and this readiness to know that everything's possible. There are no limitations, and we are going to have the life we want because it's already there. As you said, Elena, just putting ourselves at another frequency.
Mhm. Yes, very true, Daniel. Yes, really, people who don't spend on themselves, subconsciously, what they think that I don't deserve, right?
Exactly.
To spend money on myself. So how money will come to that person? Like subconsciously, it will already be door closed for money, and this also attitude that it is better to save for the rainy day. Yes, people, doesn't matter which country we live, but I think everybody can relate to that they heard this. Yes, like Daniel from France, Vangelis is from Costa Rica, Alan from England. I'm from Ukraine originally, and we all agree that we heard it is like universal bullshit.
Yes.
Universal these lies, yes, lies.
Mm.
And yes, so a rainy day, you just think about like people save money for rainy day, like what they say themselves, like they prepare to waiting for rainy day. So what they will get rainy day because what you
Mm.
think about and how you feel, this is what you get. So instead of saving on rainy day, why not just paraphrase it and say like invest in assets, yes, which grow instead of saving, because money has to circulate. There is the law of money and attracting money. Money has to circulate. It shouldn't be just staying in the bank and be eaten by inflation. We all know that there is inflation, like average, I think 6%, and is sometimes more inflation. So if you don't circulate your money, if your money don't work and bring you their friends, it is just will be lost every year. And so really understanding that money is first to spend, but not of course just spend for nothing. You should know exactly what you need, what you want. Yes, and you have to spend money wisely to put certain percentage for investment, certain percentage for your daily life, for your expenses, certain percentage for your education, for personal growth, some for traveling, yes, and there can be different jars which are important. And it is important to spend, not to be afraid to spend on yourself, and vice versa. More you spend on yourself to really feel worthy, to deserve, feel that you deserve this, more money will come to you, because when you increase your worth, this is how money will always be equivalent of your worth. Yes, like some people go and they can just spend $1,000 per one day and they don't feel guilty because they know they have that worth. So this is very good point. Shall we go to the next question? Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, great. Yes. Next question is, how do you shift your mindset quickly when scarcity thinking creeps in?
I'll start again. One of the things that one of my mentors had me go through was in the three-dimensional 3D world, everything is duality: good, bad, right, wrong, night, day, love, hate, all that stuff, right? And scarcity and abundance. So we're talking about that. And people whatever you're looking at, you have a subconscious negation for the opposite. So I want money. Why? Because I don't want to be poor. But you think about I don't want to be poor more than you think about having the money. It's like I want this. Why? Because I don't want to be this. You know, if you're talking about weight, they don't say, you know, I want to be at my optimal weight. They say, I don't want to be fat. Well, what do you think about most? Not being fat. Okay. And so that's where you gravitate, right? So it was a practice of being satisfied in either scenario. Because to get neutrality is not something to achieve and go after. It is a way of being neutral. And what I saw was if I'm okay having a lot of money and I'm okay having no money, then neither of them matters. And now I'm neutral. And now I can really enjoy stuff. And that's what I have seen in my life is that when I'm neutral about something, is the soup hot? Doesn't matter. All of a sudden I end up with all the hot soup and everyone else has got cold soup. Like, well, it doesn't matter to me. Well, how come you have? Because it doesn't matter to me. That's why I that happens to me because it doesn't matter. I'm not chasing one or the other. And it's just been tremendous in my life because that neutrality, that's what is lacking in the 3D world because everything is duality. So that's one of the mindset shifts that really, really helped me.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. And for me, it is one verse from the Bible that in that verse Jesus was telling about lilies, the flowers. He said that you see like that lily, how beautiful it is, and God gives that lily everything to blossom and so be beautiful. Are you not more important than that flower? Like, don't worry about tomorrow because God will give you everything you need. Or look at the birds. Yes, there are so many birds, and every day they find the food, every day they find what they need for their life. Are you not more important than the bird? Yes, so this is also a very good example that we shouldn't really worry because we get so much from God who created us and he gives us every day so much, everything in abundance. And we really can develop gratefulness for what we have. Yes, instead of being scary about what we don't have or what can happen. And if you focus on good, to providing value, to really develop great qualities, we don't need to worry about not having money because money always will be the equivalent of the good which we create. So when we focus on good, when we focus on creating services that really give people value, we never will worry about money.
Okay, and one thing I would add to this is that when scarcity kicks in, you know, what about if we recognize it as it's an emotion, so it's there, but then we realize that it's a fear, and when we say, okay, I see you fear, but it's not what it is, and it's about taking a step back. I mean, in positive intelligence, we would do these PQ reps, these system exercises, or we would breathe, you know. And then when we get back to our calmness instead of being in our survival mode, all of a sudden it's like, no, what is our natural state? Our natural state is abundance. And then we shift the story from lack to abundance. And we really tell ourselves, I've got enough, I've got everything I need. And the more we do this in our sage mode, the more abundance will come to us.
Yeah, thank you, Daniel. Yeah, very good. So let's move to the next. Alan, or you want to share here something?
Yeah, I was thinking of something. It's really similar to what Vangelis was saying, just acceptance of the current state of a situation. If it's not extremely bad, then it's tolerable. And, when the doctor invites me to say how things are, and if I were inclined to, I could say to him, certain negative things, but really, nobody's attacking me, nobody's starving me to death. Things are fine, really. In relative terms, I've got enough, and so I enjoy life, and so whatever minor sort of aberrations there are that could affect me from day to day, they're not really major difficulties in my life.
Yeah, so this is a good habit to not to worry. Yeah, not to
Yes,
worry, just really be happy because we can
yes,
or to worry or be happy. So why not just to be happy and enjoy life? And we see that when we stop worrying, we happy. We are more in that receiving state.
definitely, and be optimistic for the future rather than pessimistic.
Yeah, better ideas come, better communication. We feel better. Our health is better. Yes, everything is better. And this is just a shift in mindset. Yes, do you want to worry and create those negative results that also will affect your health, or you just choose to be happy every day you
Yeah,
wake up and say
yeah,
yourself to be happy. Whatever happens, situation, say I choose to be happy and be happy.
sure, sure.
It is you who decide how you want to feel. Nobody
Exactly.
else outside of you can dictate for you how to feel. Only you. Even everything will break down, you still have chance to say, I'm choosing to be happy and be
Sure.
great. So let's go to the next segment, wealth building and financial freedom. And the question here is, what's one key money principle that has helped you achieve financial growth?
I'll go. Years ago, I had several couples that were friends. They were always telling me they never had any money. And I said, would you guys be open to looking at your financial situation? Yeah. So they come over to my apartment, and I said, okay, here's your income, here's your expenses. You should have, no, they were just kind of starting out. So, and I said, you should have $1,500 left over every month. Well, we never have any money. It's leaking out somewhere. And it doesn't matter if it's a couple or if it's a business. I've been to billion-dollar companies that they say, we're hemorrhaging money. I say, okay, well, let's look at your operations. And it's the same thing. It doesn't matter if it's a couple, an individual, or a company. Do you know where your money is going? And I say, well, apparently your advertising and your marketing and all this stuff is costing this. Here's your revenue. Here's all your inventory. You're shy about whatever that money is. Well, but if you're not making enough to pay everything, you're always going to be a little under. Well, you are not aware of this. Yeah, but I know. It sounds so simple, but do you know what your scenario is? Do you know where you are in your financial situation? And so you would think that, this is what happened in the .com back in, in the early 2000s. People were getting money from venture capitalists and angel investors. And a couple of years later, they had no money. Like, well, where did the $10 million go? Did you guys have a business plan? Did you figure out on a spreadsheet, how much everyone's going to be paid and how your traveling is? And well, yeah. And you expected it to turn out differently? And you would think they would know this, but it's not obvious to everybody. So one of the best money principles is just to know what the score is, know where you are, whether you're an individual, a couple, or a business. You know, just because a guy has a CPA in front of their, certifications have stopped meaning a lot to me, because a lot of times people can pass a test, but they don't know how to use their knowledge. So that's what's one thing. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. What I mean, for me, a money principle now is that money grows and expands in proportion of the trust you have in yourself, and not of the fear you have of losing it. So when we really value ourselves, when we act from a position of trust, when we know that we've got the ability to create, this is when its money flows and it arrives. And sometimes it's not directly there, but if we know it's going to come, yes, we go there. Now, if on the other side we fear, well, the opportunities are not going to come from us, because what we were talking before, money will be blocked. So it's really about being confident, having certainty that we deserve it, we are worth it, and we are going to attract money.
Yes, very good point. Yes, the confidence in yourself that you can do that. Yes, because if people are not confident, this is how fear comes. They afraid to pay because they don't believe themselves, right? But this is very important, to believe in yourself and know that you're capable, you want this, and you will succeed. Yeah, great point.
Add, Elena, yes, I think one principle that's helped me is judgment about what is a good investment. And you get lots of propositions made, and inevitably there are varying degrees of risk involved. And what I've done reasonably successfully, I wouldn't say it's 100% record, but mainly I've been able to judge which are the good investments and which are the bad investments. And even when there was one particular investment that I can recall which wasn't good, it was because I was misled by someone. So there was a reason for that outcome, which wouldn't normally have happened. But anyway, I retrieved the situation, and it wasn't as bad as it could have been. So yeah, I'd say judgment is also a good thing to have when you're looking at wealth building and financial growth.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing, everyone. So let's go to the next question. How do you balance a strong mindset with practical financial strategy?
When my mother passed back in 2018, my sister and I were wanting to sell the house, and time was passing, and this is almost coming up to a year. And I said, I wonder if I have a belief that's blocking this. So I had a person that I was working with. Every week we would look at whatever beliefs we had that weren't serving us. And I met with her for 7 years. Every week we met just to, okay, what are you, and you can't see your blind spots. That's why they call them blind spots. So I could see her, she could see mine. And so that's what we did every week for 7 years. And so I said, I got to find out if there's something blocking this. And sure enough, there was. And so we used our tools that we have to locate the belief and to release it and remove it. As soon as I finished that with her, my sister texts me and says, oh, the house got sold. It happened so many times. I couldn't just say, oh, that was cool. So this is just part of what we're talking about here. If you're thinking and money is energy, and thoughts are energy, you're not aligning with those frequencies. When people say, hey, we're on the same wavelength, it's the same thing. Frequency, wavelength, vibration. You're not where that vibration is, where the house is sold. It's here and I'm here. And so as soon as I release that block, then all of a sudden I was at the same frequency of the house being sold. And it's amazing. As soon as I finished my session with her, she texts me. So that's part of what I also do. And I think we've mentioned it several times, where whenever something is happening, it's a good thing. It means that my soul wants to reveal to me, you have something, a belief that's not serving you.
Mhm. Yes, yes, such a great sample. Yeah, it is good to understand that we know so less. We just think that this is 3D reality where we can see these material things, but it is really so small in a universal, like how universe is created, and we don't know so much about things. Yes, so we just maybe little bit get some idea how it can connect, but literally it is not it is not physical what is primary. Yes, it is energy. Yes, and everything happens initially at the energetic field, and then it only comes to physical field. And more we use our high mental faculties, which are not physical, like ability to see, hear, smell, taste, and touch, as usually most people live, and they only base their assumptions based on those physical senses. So more we can detach from physical and start living from high mental faculties, such as imagination, intuition, will, memory. We can create memory in the future, not only in the past. Perception. Yes, so more we start using those high mental faculties, more we start creating things in life which we want, and less blocks we will have, because we will not be so much attached to this 3D reality. We will understand that this world is just a simulation. It just reflects who we are. So in order to change something, to get something, we have to make this reality inside of us, and then only we will see this reality manifested in physical world.
Yes, and you know, we spoke about mindset. Vangelis spoke about, discipline, practice, knowing our numbers, but it's as well investing in growth. I mean, of course, we talk about investment and everything, but first it's about investing in ourselves. What I was talking about before, it's how do we know what's best? What are the various options? So the more we do this, the more we learn, the more it's going to have an effect on what we on our investments, because we have more knowledge and 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 the way the brain is wired is to, when we are focused on that, is going to look for all the opportunities which goes into this direction. And the other factor which is so important is giving. When we give with joy, when we help others, this shows abundance. And the way it works in the universe is that, although, of course, we give without expectation, but things are coming back a way or another. And just let's be amazed, and let's think that, and the more we do, the more it's going to be fulfilling and rewarding.
Yeah, there's a lot, depends on expectation, what we expect. Yes, and there is a saying, inspect what you expect. Yeah, because this is true. What you expect that is coming, what you assume, what your assumptions, what you assume that is going to happen. If you expect good, the good will come. Yeah, because you will think, your thoughts will be different, your feelings and actions will be different from if you expect something bad. Yes, you will do opposite things, and you will not do something to bring that abundance in your life.
Yes, I think you could add to the mindset is avoiding fear, isn't it? Because you need to have a strong mindset and not be fearful about what you're investing your time and your efforts in, you need to have that self-belief that actually will enable you to fulfill your vision, your expectation out of any situation, because you know from within yourself that you can achieve a certain goal or you can achieve a certain outcome. I think that's also part of what you're talking about, the strong mindset, but also the practical strategy. You know from your own abilities what you can do, and you believe that you can achieve a certain outcome.
Yes, right. I think that what makes successful people successful, it is attitude to fear. They have the fear as all people, yes, because we're human beings and we have the same principles how our brain operates. So what makes people successful to be successful? It is attitude to fear. They have the fear, but they do it anyway. You just face fear and do it anyway, and the fear will disappear. Yeah, and I also like this definition of fear: false evidence appear real. Yes,
Yes.
but this false evidence just appears real because when we understand how our brain functions, that it just knows what it knows from the past and from the present, and it's task of our brain or job of our brain is to keep us safe. So whatever new will come, automatically we will have that fear. So it is okay to have fear. It is just normal. You know that everything you go for something new, everything you want to go for bigger results in life, you will have that fear, and this is normal. And you just go through it, and you will get yourself on the other side. But when people don't understand that, they come to a certain level to start doing something, and then they face the terror barrier, right? Like fear and doubt always raise. And then what they do, they just bounce back. Yes, because they say, oh, it is not for me, or I'm not enough, I don't have that, or I'm not still that. And they just bounce back to their boundaries, yes, to their where they were. So this is, yeah, very important point that, yes, feel the fear and just go after your dreams, because the biggest thing that you will regret at the end of your life is not for doing something and not getting results. It's still, you, even if you don't get that result, you still get knowledge, you get experience, so you know how to do next time better. And if you don't quit, you will succeed. It is guaranteed that you will succeed if you don't quit. But if you don't do and you just stay in that bondage of your life, this is what you will regret, because this is not life, yeah, which you really would like to live.
Yes, and in the same vein, Elena, just to complete what you are saying, life happens, good things, things not so good. But what makes a difference is the way we look at it. If we think that life happens to us, we are the poor victims of people, of circumstances, of job loss, then nothing's going to happen. Now, if we start thinking differently, oh, why does it happen to us? What can I learn from that? Then already with the mindset, it's different, and then we can embrace this mindset. And as you were saying, Elena, our biggest growth is just on the other side of our biggest fear. So when we've overcome it, this is when we have changes, because if not, by default, if we do the same things we've always have done, we are always going to get the same results. So embrace the fear, go with a positive attitude, and afterwards, the last stage is we are the drivers of our lives. So let us make sure that we are in charge of our destiny, and things happen through us. And when we are there, everything's possible.
Oh, yeah, so good. Yes, so good you said, Daniel. Yes, embrace fears. It is so good you said. Embrace fears, embrace challenges, because all is given to you, for your growth, and for you to be and become who you meant to be. Because if you have big goals, you cannot get to those goals with the mindset and thinking, feeling, and acting as you do now. You have to grow, and the only way to grow is through change. And every change is not pleasant. Every change happens only when you go out of your comfort zone and when you go through that fear. And this is very uncomfortable. But then you can look back and say, how good I did that. How good I now feel that I'm here already, not there. I don't want to stay there anymore. And you again look forward, you look ahead and do the same process again and again. And this is how you achieve your biggest goals and dreams.
Yes, and one point I'm just going to add to this for our listeners is that some people around us sometimes try to discourage us. Could be our parents, friends. Oh, don't do this. It's dangerous. It's things. But we've got really to remember that if it's something which is within us, if we've got this calling to do that, if there's a drive, nothing can stop us, because whatever people say to us, even if it's well-minded, it's just a reflection of their own fears, of their own insecurities, sometimes of their childhood trauma. So we can acknowledge them, we can thank them, but still, we want to do something, we go for it, because we know deep down that this is meant for us.
Yes, thank you so much, Daniel. So we have next question. What's your best advice for entrepreneurs aiming to unlock abundance and lasting wealth? What is your best advice for entrepreneurs aiming to unlock abundance and lasting wealth?
I hear this phrase a lot, and I have many people say, "Oh, I'm just taking responsibility." I said, "Okay, what does that mean?" I said, "Well, I said, what does that mean to take responsibility?" Well, it just means that I'm the one who does things. What does that mean? Well, and then eventually in the conversation, they have to come to the realization they are creating this. They said, well, I can't create things. Then why are you reading self-help books? Well, there's that conflict again. I can't create. I'm not in the driver's seat, but I want to change my life. So if you think about the take responsibility, I'm either a victim of circumstance, like Daniel said earlier, or I'm the one who actually is creating this. If I realize and take responsibility, the one who creates it is the one who can change it. If you think someone else is the one that's controlling everything, it's over. So one of the things that people need to realize, and advice for entrepreneurs, is take responsibility. You're the one who's doing this. You're creating the situations, and you're the one who's also deciding what to do with the situation. That has been a huge breakthrough for me. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Vangelis. Yes, great advice.
I think if I could add to what Vangelis was saying, it's a similar sort of point, really. If you want to give advice to any entrepreneur who wants to achieve something, they've got a particular goal, then they need to take ownership of their goal, just as you take ownership of whatever you decide to do, and you need to demonstrate your ability to give value by helping other people. And the more you can help other people, the more that the people will see the value in what you do, and thereby be attracted to you and help you to fulfill your goals. So the advice to any entrepreneur is to take ownership of what they plan to achieve, to help people through their own knowledge and their own value, and thereby achieve their own vision, their own dreams, and their own success.
Well,
Yes, thank you.
yeah, and I'm just going to add something to it. Was exactly on the same vein as you, Alan. It's really about focus on serving, focus on doing the best you can, on providing value, detach from the outcome, because we don't know, we can't control it. But you do your best, you help people, and when this happens, afterwards, abundance will flow naturally. It's about life is about attracting, it's not about chasing. And
Yeah.
when it comes from the top of the company, it's about instilling this vision in everyone, giving everyone this feeling that do your best, don't worry, just, thrive, and then everything's possible. Bringing people together as a team.
Yes. Yes, I think I'd concur with that, Daniel, particularly when you've got big objectives to achieve. And you notice this particularly on massive projects where it's not one person or even half a dozen people. Sometimes there are hundreds or even thousands of people involved in a collaboration to achieve a particular outcome. And I think that's one of the most valuable things about modern society, that we've got this ability to create teams very quickly and then to get them all collaborating towards a common goal, that they achieve something which creates great value for society.
I have a question for you guys. So the motive and the reason for why you serve people, do you see a thing whether it feels like an obligatory thing? Well, you should serve people, or you really sincerely, genuinely want to? How do you guys deal with that? Because that was a big thing that I had to deal with. So how do you, because serving people, sometimes you feel obligated. Well, you have to, or how do you get them to really realize, am I doing this because I really genuinely want to?
So, I mean, if I can
Sure,
reply to this
please.
one, Vangelis, I mean, why did I become a coach, a mental fitness coach? I had a calling. I had a calling to really help people transforming their lives, because I realized that I had done it all my life without knowing it. So it was absolutely not about money. It was absolutely not obligatory, as you said, but I realized that every one of us has natural talents. And again, it's not about ego, not at all, but we all have abilities to do some things where we really can help others. And when we have them, I think we need, well, actually, you say, if we don't use them, it's a disservice to society. So it's not obligatory, like nobody compels us to do it. But if we don't do it morally, it's not right. So let's do this. And when we do it, it's without expecting things like, we don't know what the outcome is going to be. But when we really believe in this, when we know that it can help people with changes in their lives, we do it with joy, and this flows.
Yes, I think I'd add to what Daniel has said. Certainly, when I look back at scenarios I've encountered, I've always tried to help the situation to improve. So I would help people who are around me to improve their outcome, help them solve a problem, or whatever it is. So I don't think I've got any expectation from it. But I find that when you do help people, people are more inclined to assist you as well. That it creates a good energy in the team or in the environment in which you're working. So I would put it like you would say, if it were a ship, you run a happy ship. It's not oppressive. It's not something which is unpleasant to work in.
See, that's what I like both your answers. If I remove the expectation, it moves more to the sincere. Because I'm not expecting something in return. I'm not expecting a certain outcome. And then to your point, Ellen, If we're all enjoying ourselves, that's also a great indicator. So that would be also the advice to an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Why are you doing what you're doing? Are you expecting something? Are you happy? I mean, those are great ingredients. Thanks for sharing that, because you both mentioned that. That's great. I love it.
And
Yes, and I liked your question, and I think that this is what happens naturally when you pour the jar. Yes, when the jar is filled, then it starts pouring out. So when you're filled inside, when you're happy inside, you know your worth, you know your value you have. This just happens naturally. You start sharing it. It is just pouring out from you. And this becomes the way of life. And this is what personally for me, this fulfillment when I can help people to change their lives, when I can help them to find fulfillment and bring those talents and gifts which they have on the surface. Because success for me is fulfillment. It is living by becoming person who I'm meant to be, finding my true talents and gifts and developing them and use them for good.
I would like to share a story with you guys. It's you see, over the last 2 days, I attended a trade fair in my previous industry, and it's people I've known for many years. I was in the baby products business, and and then I'm on this stand, and there's this lady who comes to me, and she says, "Oh, Daniel," he said, "Do you know what?" And I really hardly remembered her, I have to say, but she came with a big smile and said, "Oh, wow, do you know what? I so much remember the training you gave us it was in a particular shop. And this was with such, energy and all that. And we were so motivated. Thank you." I said, "Wow, you know what? It touched my heart." And then the day after, I was on another stand, and somebody came in, and whom I know I had worked with them, and I remember I had gone and trained them. And I had the same kind of remark. This guy says, "Oh, I was just talking to you about this." And we talk about, I don't know, 15 years ago or something like that. So again, it's not about me. It's not about ego, but when you see that you brought something, you brought some joy, and that people really, they value it. It brought something. This is, for me, how best can it be? It's about really bringing something, uplifting people. And, so I just wanted to share with you guys.
Yes, great. Thank you.
I could add that just one small point, adding to what Daniel was saying there, Elena. I can recall one particular situation where I was working on a large project which involved lots of different contractors from different countries and so on. And one of the guys who I'd helped to solve a problem, he appreciated me by saying, "Thank you for being human." Because there was an interpretation of the situation where I could have put a lot more pressure on him and his company, but I chose to take a more reasonable view, and it helped him, and it helped the project. And a lot of what my job involves is looking after other people's money, but to me it was a wise use of that money that I was in charge of to actually solve this problem for this particular contractor and keep things going, because sometimes, and I've encountered it on other projects, contractors have difficulties, and if they run out of money, then the job stops because they haven't got cash flow to pay their workers, pay their suppliers, and so on. And so that can be a worse outcome. So by keeping things going and being human, you can achieve a better value, achieve a better outcome.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. thank you so much for this amazing discussion which we had. Yeah, I really enjoyed today's topic and hearing you all sharing your perspectives, and looking forward to see you again in our next panel discussion.
Thanks, Elena. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.